After the end of the Renaissance era came the beginning of the Baroque era that started from the year 1600 and ended in the year 1750. So what really marked the beginning of this era was the creation of an opera, or the playing and the premiering of the first opera. So how did it start exactly? Well, you had many musicians wondering and studying the idea of how they could revive the idea of the Greek drama and create a play, add to it some music, and some accompaniment. So it was three crucial elements of a Greek drama, a play, a singer, and some form of musical accompaniment. And that was known as the basso continuo. It was a bass instrument, very deep-sounded instrument like a cello, accompanying the singer as they would sing and perform during that Greek drama. That era also marked the beginning of harmony. I'm sure many of you have already heard of this term. So far we've looked at so many terms such as melody, polyphony, monophony, and much more. Harmony, however, refers to the study or the idea of having a bass note, much like the basso continuo accompanying the singer, but also adding more notes stacked up onto that, thus creating a chord and providing more room for the additional creation of chords, thus formation of chord progressions to create a whole, concise musical line, giving birth to another room of endless possibilities for music. After the Baroque period ended, came the Classical period, a period marked by structured music, very formal and elegant music. It started in the year 1750 and ended in the year of around 1820. This era marked the era of the Enlightenment, and people rejected the idea of Baroque music in favor of more structured and formal music. In order to understand this more clearly, we're going to list a few names, and they are Joseph Haydn, Ludwig van Beethoven, and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, some of the most famous figures in classical music. If you listen to their pieces, you can ascertain how classical, how structured and formal the music was. So when I list these people in particular, not only were they the most famous of that era, but they also changed the course of time when it came to classical music. Beethoven was highly inspired by Mozart. He was at the same time the student of Joseph Haydn. If you look at Beethoven's earlier works, you could see how classical they were because they were heavily inspired by the works of his teacher, Joseph Haydn. However, Beethoven slowly strayed away from that style of music and sent shockwaves all across Europe, especially when he first published the Eroica Symphony, the Heroic Symphony, some of the most beautiful melodies that you will ever encounter in classical music. So he sent shockwaves because of its expression, its passion. The people weren't accustomed to this form of music. So Beethoven inadvertently paved the way for the beginning of the Romantic era, at around 1810, 1820, and ended in the year 1920. We had some of the most famous composers during this period of time, such as Frédéric Chopin, Franz Liszt, Robert Schumann, and many, many, many more who we will be looking at. So what was so special about this era of music? Well, its expressionism, the dramatization of certain events, the over-exaggeration of these certain events, and the fascination by nature. To help you understand how, why, and what's going on here, look at this painting by Eugène Delacroix. You could see the intricate details and the exaggeration of these details to portray the elements of a certain event. This could also be seen in many forms in classical music that was marked by the dramatization of certain events. So the Romantic era was one of the most interesting eras, and I'm so excited to be speaking to you about this era in more depth. So there you go. We so far went over the early music, Renaissance, Baroque, classical, and Romantic. I am thrilled and very excited to dissecting each era of music, listening to different pieces, and educating you even more about the wonderful aspects of these different eras. I'm very excited. If you have any ideas that you want me to discuss, please feel free to put them down below in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and create as much awareness about classical music as possible. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.